To the Fishbowl Radio, everybody. My name is Chief here, and joining me today is Jalen. We're going to be talking about Louisiana Ragin Cajun men's basketball after their pair of victories this weekend over Arkansas State and Texas State as well. We had a little bit of generator issues. We'll get into that as well. And we'll also talk about the $8 million deficit that Louisiana Ragin Cajun athletics ran this past year. And, what contributed to that, obviously, we'll go into that as well. Without further ado, we'll also cover the women's basketball as well. So without further ado, let me introduce everybody to Jalen. How you doing today, Jalen?
I'm doing well, Chiefy. As I say it always, another great day to be a Raging Cajun. And yeah, the generator might have went out, but guess what? They got two dubs since.
Yep, that is true here. So let's talk about what happened against Arkansas State here. So both these teams here, if you're looking at periods of the shooting by period here, the Cajuns definitely shot well, better than Arkansas State through the majority of this game. They ended up beating them 81-75. Arkansas State for the game shot 50% from the free throw line. Cajun shot 81.3% from the 2-point land here. The Cajuns start off at 51.6%. Second half, they transitioned to 42.9%. For the game, they shot 48.1% from the floor. 3-point land, Cajuns were hitting three-pointers. 41.7% compared to Arkansas State's 23.1%. So whenever you're taking 26 shots, you only make 6, and the Cajuns didn't really shoot that many threes in this game compared to them. That's what they're 5 for 12. But when they made them for sure. And Arkansas State definitely shot the ball more than the Cajuns. They made 26 of 66, and the Cajuns made 25 of 52. Now, if they could have shot a little better from the 2-point land, Arkansas State would have won this game here, but the Cajuns defense definitely stepped up when they needed to. This Cajun defense does play very good defensively here. For the game, they got 29 defensive rebounds compared to Arkansas State's 19 defensive rebounds. Offensive rebounds, Cajuns got 11, and Arkansas State got 21. So they did allow a lot of second chance points here. But, Cajuns got to the line a good bit and made them pay for it there. So basically what happened with this game was Cajuns against Arkansas State were able to capitalize on the mistakes that Arkansas State made when they were shooting it. They were just a better shooting team for this one here, which allowed them to get the victory. Jalen, what's something you saw against Arkansas State that you think might propel the Cajuns here, continuing their 5-game win streak here?
I think the way the Cajuns were just able to shoot the ball. I mean, and we've been talking about this all season long as how the Cajuns wouldn't be able to get rebounds, or they wouldn't be able to get get it to the big guy inside. Well, this Cajuns team, which is kind of a young team this year, they say, you know what, we're going to shoot the ball, we're going to be lights out, and that's how we're going to win these games. And then you see how the game what is against Texas State, which is just which was literally just played. They beat them by 20, and Arkansas State they beat them by 6. I think the way the Cajuns have been shooting the ball has been impressive. And then I remember Coach Marlin even said it himself how Arkansas State is just one of the best field goal percentage shooting teams, like one of the best teams shooting wise in the Sun Belt. And the fact that the Cajuns were able to get it in a close game throughout the end, and they ended up winning 81-75. I think it just goes to show you the resilience that this team has had since the beginning of the year to now, and that only continue as they keep this momentum going. And who knows how far this Cajuns team can get.
The Fishbowl Radio was the only podcast out there against today, and we were able to get a different perspective and able to see what's actually happening in real time and the adjustments here for the game today. I know attendance hasn't been that great of a thing, but I look, there's so much going on with the attendance thing that it's kind of hard to factor in and stuff. The tickets are real cheap to get into the basketball games and stuff, so you can't do that about pricing. Pricing's about where it should be anyway. 1,392 attendance here. It's just they need to make UL cool again, basically, like what Mark Hudspeth did for football here. We're never gonna have days like that again unless it's cool in Lafayette. It doesn't matter if we get a mascot. It doesn't matter if we build a brand new stadium. That stuff isn't gonna get full. And if they do decide to show up over there, we got to have great service. We got to get people attracted to come to this kind of events here. not decrease size of stadiums. It doesn't matter if we played in Blackham or the Cajun Dome. I think if we go back to Blackham, we're settling for the fact that we failed, right? As feeling this, and Blackham needs a lot of work. At that point, you might as well build a brand new stadium, but we do. We have some people out there saying that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to do something like that. But anyway, the Cajuns shot very good from the free throw line today, 88.9%. They shot 27.3% from 3-point land, 42.6% from 2-point land today. They definitely shot better in the second half. I will agree. There were some issues with the passing of the ball around, like trying to set up plays and turnovers and stuff. So turning the ball over, they have 15 turnovers. Arkansas State had 20. It seemed like there was a lot more than that. There were some ill-advised decisions there too. But look, I think for the most part, they had 30 points scored in the paint. Texas State had 28. Fast break points 5 compared to Arkansas. Texas State's 2. I keep wanting to say Arkansas State, but the Cajuns, I really like what they were doing with just dumping it down low to Kanenge. He's definitely improved as the season come along, and that playing time experience, just starting to gel for them. They're starting to get work down low, and he's doing a really good job down there. So, and that's something that you love to see here. Joe Charles had 13 rebounds. He played very well today. Kobe Julian shot very well today. Demas Fulks had 23 points. Kobe Julian had 19. Kanenge had 13 as well. So, look, it's a problem, right? To try to stop this team on defense here because they can beat you in so many different ways. Now they can get it down low. They can shoot it from beyond the arc. If they get a spot, they're gonna take it here. So I saw video of who was it? Kobe Julian shooting a 3-point line, and the shot clock was running down 3, 2, 1. He man, that thing was just threaded that like butter, bro. That was so nice to see. And that's something I think this Cajun team can really improve on as we go deeper into the season here. So you're setting yourself up right for a run. You got to make your plays when you can. So Jalen, what's if we're looking at this here and looking at the Sun Belt standings, because this is all important here, because we got to look and see where this is going here. Jalen, what is something that how do you think the Sun Belt's going to shake out here? Because, we saw App State beat James Madison, and they were a top 25 program at one point this year. But it's looking like they're kind of running through a rough patch for sure. Here, and App State's now leading this thing here, and the Cajuns are sitting right there in fourth place, 2 games back. Well, what you thinking, Jalen?
Well, I tell you what, since they have so many teams right now, that's 6-3, including James Madison, who was at the top of the Sun Belt, a couple of weeks ago, they were number 1 undefeated. But the Cajuns are in that mix right now at 6-3, and you got this App State team who's only lost 1 game in the Sun Belt, and yet the Cajuns still have to play them again, which I think is not too long ago. Let's see when that's going to be. The 17th of February, the way it's looking. That's the way it looks on the schedule. I think the Cajuns are in a great spot. I know we talked about this weeks ago. We said the Cajuns need to win these games, and that's what they're doing. They're on a 5-game winning streak. But I think winning close games not only shows how, your team isn't necessarily always going to be better than the other team, but it just goes to show you on that night, yeah, our team became to play. We're at home. I mean, we got an advantage right there. We're able to shoot the ball. These guys love playing with each other. Bob Marlin draws up some great plays. It's just overall, it shows the chemistry, like I've been saying, from the beginning of the year to now between the coaching staff and the players on the team. I think the Cajuns are in a great spot. I mean, right now they're 2 games back behind App State. But when you look at the bigger picture, Chief, the bigger picture is when that that Sun Belt tournament comes around and the seeding, Cajuns get one of those top seeds. They get that bye, and that gets them one step closer to the championship game. And I think for the past couple of years, they've gotten there or they won it like they did last year and they made it to the big dance. So I think the Cajuns have to keep doing what they're doing. Don't slow the pace down. Keep it going. Keep going up and down, and keep feeding Hosanna. I think, like you said, he is becoming a better player with more time to spend with these guys who've been on the team, like Kobe Julian, and you have Joe Charles on the team. I mean, I think overall the Cajuns are figuring it out, and they're figuring it out at the right time. So they just got to keep it going.
Yeah, this is the time to get hot, if anything, here. So live RPI update, if you're looking for what's going on right now, the Cajuns are at 120. So they definitely went up by 9 spots here from since Sunday, January 21st. I don't know if they figured in Texas State yet. They don't even have the game. They didn't okay, so they didn't update the Arkansas State game, so it says postponed on here on this but we know they won. We talked about them winning it. So they were at 268, 245. So I don't know if that's quite figured in with Warren Nolan right now. Yet to kind of see where they're gonna be at for sure. So you got ULM, South Alabama. Let's see what happens here. I'm gonna do a run predictor here because they don't have it updated yet. It's behind. They didn't reschedule it, so they had them winning it anyway. So now they have the Cajuns splitting Southern Miss toward the end of the year. They got them beating ULM, South Alabama, Georgia State, Old Dominion. They go on the road. The bad part about the Cajuns here, they missed a golden opportunity to beat. They didn't play App State yet this year, so they missed like all the games. They like the James Madison game. I think really was kind of a bad thing for them because if they could have won that at home, that really would have set them up very well here. So the Cajuns, most of the Cajuns' losses this year have been on the road. So this one here, they only have them finishing at 10-1 at home. So if the Cajuns can keep winning here, like it's got them winning ULM and South Alabama, which I think they'll beat both these teams here. I think they're the better team here. So, but Georgia State and Old Dominion coming up here, I think they can possibly beat both of those here. So that'd be 4 games, and then they got to play App State on the road. If they can steal that game against App State on the road, set up a 5-game winning streak, and then go back to ULM at ULM and beat them on the road, then you got Southern Miss. They have to, like, the 2 biggest games remaining for the Cajuns in this season here is App State on the road against App State and at Southern Miss. That's the 2 games they have to win to have a good shot at winning the Sun Belt regular season championship here. So then you got, because the Cajuns are probably going to beat them at home. And there's a trend going on this year with college basketball. If you look at all the top ranked teams here, they don't play so good on the road. I think it's like the lowest in the AP poll in like 25 years or something that the road team has been winning on the road against like this top 25 team. So it's the lowest rate of winning that we have seen for many years in college basketball. So I think that's got something to do with the transfer portal and NIL. So that's something we got to keep watching here. So we'll see what's happening with that there. And, we'll see what happens there. So, Jalen, let's switch gears here and talk about women's basketball here. What you think about the women's?
I think when it comes to the women's basketball team this year, like we've been saying all year, Chief, I think they've kind of had their little ups and their kind of downs. But their most recent win is, I mean, when you look at it, it's probably not the biggest win in the world, but for this team, it's great that they were able to get the win against I forgot exactly who it was against Texas State, a team that the Cajuns men's team who literally just played who they're supposed to play when you get the whole generator situation. They had to move games around and yada yada yada. But moving back to the women's team, I mean, they won this game by 7 points. Um, it was a huge win for them because not only when you look at it, they are on a 2-game winning streak because they beat Coastal Carolina, but before that, they had a loss to Troy, a loss to ULM. They won against Arkansas State, lost to Troy. Like it's a lot of L's with a few W's in there. And I think this could be a turning point for the women's team. I know we talked about it with the men, and we're going to talk about it with the women too, how you build these win streaks, you get hot at the right time. And what does that lead to? That leads to W.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
just
something
think that it could be the start of something. I know. Now, I was gonna say, I was looking at the February 1st against Southern Miss. That'll be a big test for them because they're going back on the road. But yeah. But what you're saying, though, Chief?
I think that this upcoming schedule here, they have to get a couple of wins here. They lost to ULM earlier in the year, but they had a lot of starters on that game. I think if they get the starters to play against ULM next Saturday, I think they pick up the win. I think that's one thing that you can look at with this schedule coming up here. That's Southern Miss. Southern Miss is 9 and kind of 500 so far this year. it's kind of makes you wonder where you think you're going to be at. They'll probably beat Southern Miss, probably. But Marshall and Georgia Southern, it's not going to get much easier for them. I think they'll lose to Marshall. Marshall's been kind of running things in the Sun Belt this year. They're perfect in conference, so it'd be kind of hard for me to pick against them. So, the way that's going here, if they can still win against ULM, it'd be nice. But I think they'll win one. They have a 2-game winning streak so far, the Cajuns. So if they can string off a couple of, get on a run here, they might be able to make some noise in the conference tournament here. But they're down by getting in that top 4 spot in the conference tournament. It's huge because you void that one extra game you have to play. So there's 3 games back. So I think 3 game, it's just going to be tough for them to get there. And I don't see it. I don't see a path for that there. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully they get hot at the right time and win this game. So win these next couple of games coming up, so they can improve themselves here. Whereas like Texas State, looking at their stats here, kind of dead even except for the 2-point shooting percentage here. So, the fouls of Texas State, Caden shot a lot more free throws. That was a big difference in that game. Whenever they would have beat them 59-52, shot a lot more free throws than they've been getting good against their line for both these games against Coastal and Texas State. So recency has them playing a lot better here. They need to get more offensive rebounds, I think, especially against like Coastal, because they got like 10, then 6, and then because the second chance points add up a lot. They only had 3. That's one area. The second chance points, they only got 7 in that one against ULM, the first time they played. So if they get more opportunities, like offensive rebounds, that is a big indicator where you're going to win these games or not. So they can get the extra chances. I think they'll pick up the win. So we'll see what happens here. Thank y'all for tuning into the Fishbowl Radio. Hope you have a great but before we go though, let's talk about one more issue, Jalen. What about this $8 million deficit that the athletic department ran here real quick? What you think, Jalen?
I think that's huge. I mean, it's kind of news to where we don't really like talk about it as much, but that's a lot of money getting thrown in there, Chief. I mean, what 8 million. What was your first thought when you were reading about that?
So the year before that, they ran a $4 million deficit. And so my number one thing that popped out of my head was when we ran the deficit in 2022 was where all that money that Florida bought Billy Napier's contract out, right? That was a lot of money
Exactly.
that was is there, and I don't know where it went. There was, unless it goes to like, there might be some certain funds like earmarked for certain things. That's usually how departments are ran. I don't know the budget. The budget is available. I haven't really had a chance to go look at it too much, but from what like perspective, season ticket sales are down. That was a glaring obvious thing when you look at the crowd this season. Not a lot of people were at Agent Field. So in football being your biggest moneymaker, basically across all athletics is how do you get more people at Cajun Field? And I know some people like they want to point the finger at Baton Rouge so freaking fast, and they're all wrong when they say this because we on this very podcast when we went before we even went live. I mean, before we even went live with football season, like before we even went any started football season, we did a breakdown of attendance over the last like decade, and the data shows you that this is not part of anything, okay? Like, I just get tired of people mentioning LSU as a problem for UL because we're an hour away. And you know what? There's not people staying in Lafayette. They're going to Baton Rouge, which is a thing. But why are they leaving? There's a reason why they're leaving, right? So what is the purpose, right? Why are these people going to Baton Rouge when they got a hometown team that they're not supporting, right? So look, is it that we push them away? Is it community engagement, maybe? I think there's plenty of community engagement, basically what they're going on. We can go out there and put signs everywhere and stuff and like donate to the community of Lafayette at large here and have all this stuff go on. But you gotta be able to draw people into your stadium. There's gotta be look, I said this many times before, and whenever championships are on the line, more people pay attention. And like, for example, I'm gonna bring this up because this might be a very interesting topic here that might be happening in the next couple of years. So we made this episode about this. and we talked about UL specifically because that's kind of what we're looking at it from UL's perspective here. With this new division that NCAA is like kind of contemplating, which it's going to become happening. It's going to happen. I can almost guarantee that much because there's going to be so much money being involved in the top tier of college football, where they're making these different tiers that you're just going to have to find your place, right? And UL doesn't have the money to compete with LSU. They don't have the money to compete against Ohio State, Michigan, these blue blood programs, Alabama, like all these other like big schools, these Power Five mega giants here that are they're not even really college football programs anymore. They're more like semi-pro football teams because of NIL and transfer portal. So you're gonna have a cut of about 50 mega teams, and you're gonna have everybody else. So what, and I know I say that every episode when we talk about football because I want people to like, in case they didn't like watch this, or like Logan never said that, or like Chief never said that, or Jalen never said that, or Juicy never said that. Look, that's what happened, right? So you have all these teams here vying for this big pot of money, and you only got 50 of them that's going to get this pot of money. That's basically what's going to happen with the TV contracts. So where does that leave teams like UL? You're going to have to find your own place here, like I said before. Once you find your place, and how does it relate to attendance? I think more people go to Cajun Field if they actually had a national Cajun Field. It doesn't matter what it is. People love being around championship winning programs. It's the bandwagon effect. Like, look at the Patriots, look at the Bucks whenever Tom Brady switched. Look at like Joe Burrow mania, right? Look at all this other like celeb status. Like, look at LSU women's basketball. People, it's not because they're Power Five. It's because they have been able to win national championships and getting champion. If you're like North Dakota State, for all those years they won FCS national championships, people paid attention to them because, and they all went there because you want to know why? They won national championships. That's basically all there is to it. It doesn't matter if you're in the FBS or FCS, okay? Championships bring attention to your program. Like, Jalen, do you watch NASCAR?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
Okay, do you watch PGA golf?
Yeah, I watch PGA golf.
Like casual, or you're like, I'm a diehard?
Just casual.
Okay. Name me three drivers from NASCAR that you know about, and three
So
golfers.
we got so we got Jimmy Johnson, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Um, those are two guys. That's two guys I mainly watch. Trying to think of a third one on the top of my head, but those two. As soon as I think of NASCAR, that's the first two names I think of.
Okay, why you think of Jimmy Johnson?
Because he's I think he's one of the best racers of all time. Anytime you're watching, no matter what race it is, he's top five or he wins the whole thing. It's just and he's been there.
Okay,
He's been doing it for so long.
okay. So Jimmy Johnson retired a couple of years ago,
Hmm.
and he had 7 championships, like PGA golf, right? Like, name me three golfers.
Oh, of course, Tiger Woods. Which I think Tiger Woods is the goat when it comes to golf. And then you got let me see, two other golfers. Because they got a lot of new guys going on right now. Mickelson, of course, Phil Mickelson. He's top three if you want to
Like,
be more specific.
like why you know these guys, right? Because they are competing for championships. They're constantly in the conversation of winning championship. Tiger Woods had in his heyday was winning almost every single tournament they had in golf. Phil Mickelson was always competing against him to win the same title. They both had runs themselves to win titles. So I think with the deficit there, even if like how do you try to like, get people into the stadium is, I think if the Cajuns competed for a title of anything, like look at the Sun Belt title game, right? We had 31,000 people show up at Cajun Field for that game. You want to know why? Because they're competing for a championship. And the more championships Cajuns compete with, that will fix your attendance problem at Cajun Field. So if they're constantly being a dynasty kind of thing, hey. But hey, I think ESPN Plus is really to blame though too. So, but anyway, thank you for tuning in to Fishbowl Radio here. Hope you have a great and wonderful time here, and we'll see you here next time here on Fishbowl Radio.